Hi everybody, it's about 39 degrees and partly cloudy here in Lehi, Utah. We had kind of a fast storm move through, but it didn't leave anything and then just moved down to Colorado. So sorry, Colorado people. Maybe it won't last long and it'll blow through your area too. It's supposed to be about 41 today. And as you can see by the pictures that I posted at the beginning of the video, the bulbs and flowers are beginning to appear. Spring is starting to come. I was seeing Caroline off the grid's picture yesterday, and her daffodils haven't opened yet. And I always thought that mine were so late in opening, and they're all open and beautiful. So looking forward to seeing yours, Caroline, too. Hi, everybody. I'm Colette, the Highway Stitcher, and usually I'm here to bring you my stitching from the highway and at home, but it looks like it's going to be mostly from home for a while. If I can put it up here on my post, I'm going to put a very unhappy face because I'm just quite the person who loves traveling. But I will be a good girl and do what I'm supposed to do and stay home. So anyway, this is a video mostly of cross stitch, and I also will give you some of my other updates on other projects and crafts I'm doing. I've been mostly doing a lot of stitching since I've been back. I got back about 10 days ago for my trip, and I will give you some life updates at the end of the video, let you know about that. But I haven't done a video for quite a while. I don't know what it is. I've been stitching away, been enjoying that, been reading a lot, got a lot of books read, got some lace done and other things. But every time I keep thinking, oh, I should do a video, I just don't feel like doing it. It's probably part of my personality. My personality kind of shuts down when things happen, either in my life or in the life in the world. And I just kind of withdraw, not unhappily. I just withdraw, and don't really, I just kind of go into my little hermit mode and just work on my projects, which I'm happy enough to do. But I know that I need to get out here and do this because it does help me to continue and be motivated and focused on my stitching. So anyway, I'm putting myself out there and doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm only going to show you my rotation progress for this month, for every day. I'm hoping to get back on later and do a video on my market haul, maybe on some of the stash on wood items that I happen to find, or also the stores that I went to later on. But I don't want to add that to this right now because it'll just make it too long. So anyway, I'm going to move on to get right to all the stitching. I have an FFO, a finished FFO. I have an FO, and also showing you my rotation for March and for April, any changes that I have made. So first of all, this actually came back the day before I left on my trip, March 8th. But I didn't have time to make a video, of course. This, let's see the best way to do this. I've got the glare from the window. I think that's showing it pretty good. Oops. Yeah, it's showing it upside down pretty good. Okay, let's get this right side up. There's Pilot. He's not an upside down flying dragon, I guess. Anyway, this is Pilot from Firewing Designs. And I stitched this for my granddaughter Sophie, who's 8 years old. She loves dragons. Since they are in quarantine from coming back from Disney World, and I am in self-isolation also, I'm not sure when I'm going to get this to her, but I'm pretty happy with it. It was just a Hobby Lobby frame. It fit. It actually fit. I didn't have to worry about getting some custom frame. So it ended up costing me barely nothing. And I'm happy with the look of it. So anyway, that's my FFO for the month. Glad that's done. I also have an FO. And this is Treasured Friends. My last floss tube at the beginning of the month. You saw me working on this. I started it March 1st and ended at March 15th, and I did not work on it constantly. It would have been done a lot sooner. It was my Sunday rotation piece, and so I think I only worked on it a total of about 4 or 5 hours and got it done. It is a freebie that Nancy Turner sent for people who were in their Floss Club of the Month, the Victorian Model Sampler shop. And Nancy Turner is the designer. So, and I stitched it on 28 count. It's a overdyed blush peach Lugana. And it is, the floss is Classic Colorworks bandana. So I do like that look. There it is a little closer. And then back a little bit. Not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I did want to get it stitched. So along the way, we'll figure out excuse me, setting it down. I'll figure out a way to finish it and probably give it to a good buddy. Okay, that takes care of any FOs and FFOs. So anyway, I'm going to go on to my rotation for the month of March. Excuse me. And also, I'm not sick. I just have issues with allergies, what a lot of the rest of you do too. Anyway, I'm going to go on to my, instead of first 30, my first 40 focus of the day. So I work on this project at least 40 minutes a day. And I started it at Lent, and I plan on continuing at least through Easter Sunday, but probably through the end of April. I will stop then for a while though, because I'm doing Stitch Mania. So, and I want to concentrate more on that, try to get more done on each Stitch Mania piece. So it will stop then. This is a Dimensions kit called Lost No More. The artwork is Gary Olson. It's a piece that I've had, a kit that I've had in my stash for a long, long time. And one day when Brenda, and who's Handwork Maniac on Floss Tube, and I were stitching together, she mentioned that she had this kit too and was thinking of doing a focus on Easter and work on it for her first 40 minutes. And I go, oh my goodness, I have got that pattern too. So that's how it got kind of started, I think. So we are both working on this. It's stitched on 18 count Aida. They don't say, of course, what the color is. I would say like a light brown or a kind of a, I don't think it's a cream. It's probably more of a light brown. I'm going to fold this a little bit so it's easier to show. With it's on an 18 count Aida with the floss that came with the kit. Anyway, this is my progress so far. Pretty happy with it. Some days I have more time to work on it and other days I don't, but at least it is being worked on every day for at least 40 minutes. I think there was one day during the month that I didn't get anything done on it. Probably when I was traveling due to some issue there, but for the most part, every day except one, I worked on it. I have not done any back stitching yet. I was thinking about maybe working and doing that a little bit. But my savior, who I'm so grateful for, especially during this time, is along with me every day. So that is Lost No More. And the hashtag, if anybody still wants to join us with any Easter focus piece that they are doing, is hashtag Easter40Focus. And feel free to join us. Okay, my Monday rotation is Plantation Sampler by Canterbury Designs. Started this for my hashtag October 29th Sal with Kristen Grammer. Sorry, Kristen. We both have October birthdays, October 29th birthdays. And we both had this pattern, which is an out-of-print pattern, and we decided to start it. So this one I have to move back on. She is a big girl, and she's a big girl because I'm not stitching her on 40 count. So here she is, what I accomplished in the month of March. And I Probably should have taken a picture at the end of February to show where I was at, but I do know some of what I actually accomplished. So that much I do know. I got the whole weeping willow tree done, and the tree to the side of it, the little darker green tree, and then the picket fence down the hill, and the other kind of medium colored tree starting up, the border down to the bottom, and also some of the vine. So that was my progress working on Monday on this piece. You can see the color better from farther back. It is a beautiful, it's a 32 count lakeside linen pecan butter. And the floss is a shepherd's bush color conversion to more modern overdyes. So there she is, this pretty girl. And she's coming along. My plan for April will be to finish up the two side borders, the flowers for sure, and the border all the way down. More on the trees, and hopefully, I haven't decided yet, but I could either do the writing up right underneath the cartouche, or I can start working on the house if I get the rest of the picket fence done, and I haven't decided yet for sure what I'm going to do there. But that's my plan for the other part for sure. So that's my my birthday sale. Excuse me, things fall all over the place and I have to pick them up because that's me. I have to check everything out, make sure everything's where it's supposed to go so it's easier to put back when I'm done. Okay, Tuesday, my Tuesday rotation was and still is Emerald City. Yeah, Plantation Sampler will continue as my Monday rotation in April. This Emerald City by Alforce Designs will continue as my Tuesday rotation piece. It is stitched on 32 count, hand-dyed fabrics by Rolanda. It's like a green even weave with splotches on it, lighter green splotches, and with the called for DMC threads. So I'm going to close this off a little bit because some of this fabric I'll be able to use for a smaller piece, smaller design. And here she is. I left off, I believe, with, I had to rip out Toto. So I redid Toto, did the gold bricks above Dorothy, and that little cute little star, the blue and yellow star. Went over and moved on to the vines around Glinda, the Good Witch, and got most of her done. Her dress and her hat, her hair, highlights, everything else are done. I just have to do the over one stitching for her face and her hands. So I like this a whole lot better, changing over to the looks like a tornado type of a green. So that's been a lot funner to stitch on, and I think it looks a lot better. The only thing is that this piece, it just seemed like every time Tuesday came along, the whole month, something was going on. And it was just like, I kept thinking, well, I'm going to finish that whole bottom and then I'll start up higher, And I never got to it. So I had to be grateful for what I did get done. Actually, I'm a little farther than I was when I started on the light blue fabric. But still, it seemed like something happened all the time, and I just didn't get very much stitching done on it. It seemed like I was lucky to get my 40 minutes on Lost No More, and then I just try to scrunch in a little bit with Emerald City. But be that as it may, still a little bit got done. Okay, so now I'm on to my Wednesday project, and that's my Storykeep Malificent by Heaven and Earth Designs. I downloaded Pattern Keeper, which I mentioned in my last video, and have been using that to work on this smaller hade. It's like a bookmark type of a hade. I'm stitching it on a 25 count gridded even weave with the 10 block squares, and I'm stitching 1 over 1 full cross. So here's what she's looking like. I love all those colors of blue. They are just so beautiful. And that actually, you can see that on the actual pattern too. So I'm up there in the left-hand corner coming down. So like there's different shadings of like turquoise blue and other blues in it, which are just beautiful. And it's coming along good. There was one day when I couldn't work on it at all. I was in the car coming home, and it was just too much to be pulling out, trying to do Pattern Keeper or even pulling out the one page to work on it. But other than that, I did work on it and got anywhere from 300 to 400 stitches done, which could be, could have been better than that, but should have probably concentrated on a little bit more. But I'm happy with that because that's several hundred stitches and several blocks done. And Pattern Keeper has been a delight, really a delight. I have a table, I'll show it to you sometime, with my stitching stuff set up and a chair in my craft room. Well, this is actually a second craft room I'm in now, but in my other room, which is like a guest room craft room. And I have the Pattern Keeper, I set it up, it's on a Kindle, and I have it set up on the little table by my chair. And I have it enlarged for me, so I don't have to worry about, enlarging the pattern. And then I just tap off my areas that got done, and it's so fun to see how many stitches I do. It's really fun for me that, like I accomplished this many stitches in a day. So yesterday when I started it, I started a new diagonal. I was hoping I would have enough time to get the whole diagonal done because it was probably only about 500 stitches, but I didn't get it done. But that's what I got accomplished. And that has been fun. Sarah, Stitchy Mommy, sometimes I don't want to put it down. I don't want to go to other things, but I still do. I keep my rotation going. So that's how much I've grown to love working on full coverage now with Pattern Keeper. It's been so much fun. Okay, on to my Thursday rotation. For the month of March, I worked on Harriet Elizabeth Coe by Brenda Gervais with I Needle and Thread. Farm Girl started a sale with this, and I jumped and decided to work with the sale for this month. And so anyway, it's being stitched on, for me, it's being stitched on 28 count. Picture this plus fog. And I'm using most of the called for over dyes, but I did substitute this blue right here. Sometimes I'm all right with things that are light and old-fashioned looking, but I was not happy with the look of that blue, so I went and looked for a primitive blue to substitute for it, and just substituted it, and I'm happier with that. I did use the light color for the K, which I believe is a roasted marshmallow. Sorry, God, I can't believe it. When you're trying to avoid touching your face, dust starts flying through the air and then it gets on your nose. So anyway, I changed over to that, but I did keep the some of the other letters will be the roasted marshmallow, and I do like that look. I did make a mistake on this. Michelle's going to laugh at me if she listens to my video. I started merrily stitching and got A, B, C, D, E done and realized, if you look at it close, oh, the dust. Sorry, I'm doing everything I'm not supposed to do. If you get look close as this, I did not do eyelets. I did smirta crosses. La la la. Doing smirta crosses all the way across. And then I go, oops. Well, forget it. I was not going to rip out all those smirta crosses. So I just decided my letters are going to stay smirta crosses. I don't care. It looks pretty. When I got down to this red border, I thought, I remembered that that was going to be eyelets. So I'm being a good girl. And I'm doing it eyelet, as you can see. There's the little holes. So I'm being a good girl with the red border, but forgot with letters. So the letters are going to be Smyrna's. I am putting this away for the month of April. And moving to another Brenda Gervais, which I want to get finished. Pink Sparrow Sampler. I'm more than halfway done with this, probably about down to there. And do love this and want to get it done. It's not that big of a piece like Harriet Elizabeth. So I do want to get it done and finished. So it will be my Thursday rotation piece in place of Harriet Elizabeth. It is also being stitched on 28 count Picture This Plus Fog. I had a couple pieces of it, and I really liked the look of it. So that's what I'm doing for my two smaller Brenda samplers. I kind of liked the sort of washed out look of the fog, but it wasn't totally white, but it wasn't totally tinged with like a cream or a tea dyed or whatever. I just didn't quite want that. So pink sampler is I'm using the called for flosses for it, though. I didn't change out anything, and it's working marvelously on this this fabric. Really like it. So anyway, I'm gonna continue down, and we'll see what I can get done for 4 Thursdays in April. Okay. Friday. Mirabelia, Garden Prelude. My piece for my oldest grandchild, Marielle, who is an excellent violin player. And I started working on it now. She graduates, thank goodness, not this June. Not only for me stitching on this piece, but also for how sad it is for a lot of these 2020 seniors who may not be doing an actual graduation. She graduates a year from this June. So that gives me a lot of time just to work on it leisurely and enjoy it. And I have been enjoying it a lot. The only thing that I wasn't enjoying too much is trying to work out the tones of the skin being a little bit different, and no black hair. I changed it to brown because Maury has brown hair. But I think I've worked that out all right, and it's looking all right. So I have not done any back stitching, but she's looking like a violin player. So let's fold this over a little. She's being stitched on 32 count, Picture This Plus Demoiselle. A beautiful, very subtly modeled greens and blues and pinks. I did change the color of her hair and a little bit on the skin tones, but the rest is being kept the same. So the last time I worked on her, just probably her torso was mostly done. I did some of the bow there, the purple bow, and a little bit of the green. Then went up and finished. I had the arms partially done. So I finished the arms, did the violin, and also did her face, just not the back stitching on it, and started up on her hair. Looks a little better back here. Well, next time I start working on this, I'm going to try to get some back stitching done so her face looks like a face, not a blob, and then get her hair done. That's my main focus, and the hair bows. That's my main focus for this month. And then if I get that all done, looks good, then I will be able to move down on the dress. So enjoying that. I forgot how much I love working on Mirabelias, and I hadn't worked on one for about a year. I took a year break. I had done Raven Queen, and I took a year break because I was kind of done beading. That kind of beading. I like to bead bracelets, but beading on fabric is not my favoriteest thing in the world. So I took a break, but now I'm glad to be back on it. So, okay, Saturday I'm working on a mystery cell. We'll see if I keep up on it, which I have not done, but I do love this piece. So I hope to continue catching up on it. I am now in February. It's the Linen and Threads Mystery Cell. I'm going to close this up like this because it'll show it a little better, because this particular fabric is kind of the sun through the window is reflecting through it, and it's not making it look, you kind of can see through it. So this is a whole lot better. I am now in February, which is a big deal for me because it seemed like it took forever for me to get out of January. I don't know why. So I'm now in February, and, you know, continuing to work on it, hoping to catch up a little more. This reason why I got a late start on this, would have probably been more caught up, but I decided to order the fabric and floss that Linen and Threads, Fox and Rabbit Designs opted to do for their own, and I really liked it, so I had to wait for it because, not so much for the fabric, but for the floss, because they were inundated with orders for the floss. So this is being stitched on 32 count Fox and Rabbit linen, and it's called Lyrebird Dell color. A real pretty greenish blue, dark green blue. And the floss is Cottage Gardens, an Australian floss, and the color is Larkspur. So it's a variegated of pinks, light greens, and yellow. So I'll put that up so you can see more of the color. Hopefully I'm not putting you up to a part where I might have not stitched as well. Anyway, I am going as, I'm stitching as I go, names of good stitchy friends in it. Some are just one initial, others are the two initials. So I'm going to continue working on that on Saturdays. Okay, Sunday. Sunday was Treasured Friends. The piece that I finished, the FO I finished. And I did do a little catch up with Linen and Threads on another couple Sundays. Last week, Caroline started her next high tea start. Last week she started it. Actually, it was just yesterday for April 1st. And I thought, oh, I want to start it. So, oh my goodness, I can't believe how I just keep wanting to scratch my nose. This is crazy. Well, at least I'm not coughing tons. And so I had been wanting to start this piece. A lot of people have done it who were at the Midwest Cross Stitchers Retreat in fall, because we were able to buy Winter Rose Manor by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. There's the name, and of course, there's the picture. And I've always loved this pattern, but I didn't know what I wanted to stitch it on. I just didn't want it stitched on the color, the linen it was stitched on, because when I think of winter things, I think of blues and grays, and I thought, well, blue's not going to work with Brenda Gervais, not with these muted threads. I still wanted it to look primitive looking. So what I decided to do, I don't have this out of the Q-snaps, but because I started it and then just left it in, but I pulled out of my linen stash a piece of 40 count Lakeside Linen Tundra, which it's vintage Tundra actually, so it has very subtle gray bottling in it. And it really is a true kind of gray, more of a primitive gray. So I put all the flosses up to it and was pretty happy with it. So I opted to do that for my start. It's too bad you can't really see exactly how beautiful this fabric is. It is absolutely gorgeous for this. I started working on it. I love how it's turning out. Didn't get too much done. Found out that I don't have every floss. Even when I looked through my stash, I don't. So I'm going to have to order some from 123 Stitch. But I still was able to get a start on it. So anyway, when I get I better do the ordering. No, actually, I can keep working on this. I can actually fill in the white on the motif there, and do a little bit more of like the green too. I had this color here, the pomegranate, I think it is, but I didn't have the one for the flower around the side, and I also did not have the cayenne for the outlining of the motif. But that's all right. I had about 10 of the colors, so I just pulled out the ones I had, worked on it. So that, I love that. I think that's going to be beautiful. So for my rotation in April, it'll contain some repeats of my March, ones that I either have to work on, but I'm still enjoying them, like Garden Prelude, and also on some that are still calling me. I love Plantation Sampler. It's still calling my name. And I also I'm still in love with doing my full coverage that Maleficent is always calling me to. So my only changes were on Sunday and Thursday with Winter Rose Manor on Sunday, and on Thursday, Pink Sparrow. So anyway, just fast life update, because I don't want this to be too long of a video. We left on our trip on the 8th, I believe, of March. We had to go down to Southern California to do some stuff with our taxes. Our tax person, we have to talk to him because our taxes are very hard to do just online. It has to do with a lot of other issues that were due to our business, our previous business. And also we had to talk to the business owners and of our property that we lease out. And we went down there and spent probably almost a week down there. And then we headed up to our house in Washougal and spent another week and a half there. It was interesting. Every day things were changing, and I'm just going, okay, are we going to have to turn around and go home? I was very good way back at the end of February. I mean, I've always been this way, but I found some spray containers and some 80% rubbing alcohol, and I like put it on my hands all the time everywhere I go. I make Chris put it on. Use sanitizer. We wiped down everything in the hotel rooms we were in. We didn't really go out to eat except drive-ins, and stayed isolated at the house in Washougal as well as pretty much in the hotel in California. We got out of California the day before they locked it down, and when we were in Washougal, I was very pleasantly surprised, because even though Washington is supposed to be a hot spot, the grocery stores were fine. We didn't have any problem buying food, because when we go there, we have to buy things because all we have is just a few items in the cupboard, like canned items. Things weren't out. It was a very nice, peaceful place to be. I really enjoyed my time there, and I was grateful to be able to spend time there, because things were a little out of control here in Utah for a while. A lot of hoarding, a lot of craziness, a lot of people waiting in lines, and we didn't have that in Washougal, so I was very grateful for that. It helped my soul to be at peace. And when we came back, now that we're back, we've been in isolation again for 10 days. My kids had brought me, food, things like that. Chris has a cold, but I'm kind of wondering if it might be allergies. But anyway, I don't seem to have anything, and with God's grace, we're hoping to get through the next week or so, and then I think, we'll be just stay-at-homes for a while, and things will be good. So I think we were watched out quite a bit on our trip. We, of course, did the correct things too, and did what we were supposed to do. For gas pumps, I'd wipe them off. Every store I went into, I was either using my clothing to open the doors, or I was using my my rubbing alcohol for everything, hand sanitizer. So I was well aware of it way back at the 1st of March and was taking care of it. So I think things went well for us, and I'm looking up, hopefully. I am working on kitting up, changing to stitching again. New starts for Stitch Mania. I will be able to have 5 new starts along with the ones that I already have from previous whips. So I was working on that this last week, getting them kitted up and the floss and all bagged up and everything. So I hope to put together a video maybe before Stitch Mania and show you what I kitted up for my new starts. And let me see, I will do another video too of my market haul and some other things that I found along the way, and a stitchery store that I went to before the stores all closed. I will also do a video for that too. Anyway, I'm going to turn this off for a minute because I've got to go get my gratitude book and come back and read you a passage. Okay, everyone. At the beginning of the month, I said that I was going to try to do a quote about gratitude, and I guess that's even more pertinent now. I found this one. I usually just open this book. It's called Daily Gratitude, 365 Days of Reflection. So, enrich your spirit. And I kind of tend to open it up every day and just let it drop open. And today it dropped open on a really interesting one. Shows a picture of a beautiful ship. Makes me think of the Mayflower. And the quote says, it's by Zora Neale Hurston, says, some people could look at a mud puddle and see an ocean with ships. Isn't that like the half full, half empty quote? Being able to look at something that maybe doesn't look like much of anything and see that it is can be something absolutely beautiful if you look at it the right way. So I want to tell you all, practice an attitude of gratitude. Look at those things out there that might not be looking so great to you and picture the greatness, how it could look. So anyway, also remember all the beauty all around you. Remember the beauty that you have here in your home if you are stuck in it. Grateful for the people out there who are working to keep us safe and well. Look at your rooms, your organizing if you're doing it, the beauty there. Remember to look outside, be in the sun. If you've got sun, it's important for you to be out in the sunlight. See the beauty in your yard, in your home, and what's around you as you stay inside. Again, grateful to be here, and love to all of you guys, and I'll talk to you again, hopefully soon. Bye all.